This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place? The taco place? Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cars are here, and you can only get them at Jackson's.
Start collecting them today.
Jackson's, let's go!
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN Live is presented by our title sponsor, RoadPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our major sponsors, Jackson's, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, and the Blue and Orange store. For more coverage of Boise State athletics, check out the all-new BroncoNationNews.com, now part of the 247 Sports family. Now, here's five-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Bronco Nation? Welcome on into a live edition of Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. My name is BJ Rains, and that is Mike Prater for his weekly Friday appearance. As a lot to talk about, football, basketball, and the weekend ahead. Mike, appreciate you as always. How we doing, sir?
BJ, how you doing, my friend? Doing great. It's a little chaotic and misty and kind of gray and cloudy out there, but it's going to be a fantastic sports weekend. Looking forward to it, my friend.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Happy to be here. Going to be in San Diego tomorrow for the game. Looking forward to that. And yeah, I saw somebody in the chat say congratulations to the my Patriots. Somehow, some way, Mike Prater, in this $18 million Survivor contest at Circa, I am still alive. I know you know our good buddy Jake Forsyth. Jake and I split an entry, and somehow we're heading to Week 12, still alive for the $18 million. So if I win it, I'll give you a small pay raise. How about that?
I like it. I'm rooting for you. So that's pretty serious competition and getting very, very close. So good luck with that. Keep me posted.
Yeah, I'm at the I mean, I know I'm not going to probably win, so I'm just enjoying this. Got my money's worth. Last year we lost in week 1, so to be still alive in week 12, kind of cool there. And find you a wife, Mike Prater. I know this sounds like something that Tempe would certainly do as well. So I'm speaking to the choir here, but we were going to head to San Diego for the weekend. It's my 40th birthday tomorrow, so I am enjoying today, Mike Prater, my last day under the hill, I guess, so to speak. 39 years old today for the final day. And we had planned to go to San Diego, love San Diego, had childcare for the kids. We're going to hang out there. We just had our anniversary a couple days as well. And then we saw the forecast for San Diego, and it was really crappy and rainy and not much to do in San Diego when the weather is not great. And so my wife said, what about going down to Vegas for a couple days instead? So don't ask me twice about saying no to Circa. So we headed down to Circa, watched the Thursday night game last night with Tyler and a lot of the crew and the Circa crew last night, and may check out the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere today, Mike. I haven't never been. I think you've been to the Sphere. I have not. Saw the Wizard of Oz was playing. Maybe we'll do that today. We're going to try to have a little bit of fun today, and then tomorrow morning fly over to San Diego for the game.
Perfect. Yeah, go check out Sphere. I did see. I saw you two there, and I've heard the Wizard of Oz things is really crazy, and you might want to have a cocktail before you go in there and check it out. The stimulation and the visuals will kind of freak you out, and you'll have some fun with that. But yeah, you're right. It's all about the football game. By the way, that is awesome. Shout out to Karen for making that happen. That's very cool. And the relationship. Anytime you're hanging out at Circa, I'm a little bit jealous. I know the gang. I know the places, and it's a cool place to hang. It's a cool place to watch football. We always appreciate what those guys do. And nicely done, Karen. Nicely done. And BJ, congratulations on your last day in your 30s.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, woke up, got my kids to school, and by 5 o'clock, I'm eating a steak dinner at Barry's. It was nice. It was a fun day yesterday, and yeah, looking forward to today. And yeah, apparently for the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere, when they have the tornado and stuff, there's wind and stuff falling from the sky, and it's apparently kind of cool. So we may check that out today, but certainly excited to get over tomorrow. I was there yesterday with you, Mike, before we left at the Spencer Danielson press conference. Plenty of news coming out of that with Devon Banks getting kicked off the team. Chris Marshall, questionable as of 11 a.m. and then at 5 p.m. or whatever it was, announced as out for the game on Saturday. I was at practice, Mike. We always have this weird thing where during the team periods, there's stuff we can say, can't say. So I actually, now that he's been announced as out, I'll just say it. I saw the injury happen. I was at practice on Tuesday. I saw the play. I will throw the narrative that I saw on Twitter that the Devon Banks being removed from the team and the Chris Marshall injury are related. They have nothing to do with each other. I don't even think there was a defensive player around him. He just went to make a catch, rolled his ankle, and next thing you know, he's out on Saturday. So I again saw it. It was literally 15 feet in front of me and Chris Van Sickle's eyes, Mike Prater. And then Spencer Danielson looked up and saw us both standing there and saw that we saw it. I don't think was super pumped that we saw it, but we did. And we find out a couple of days later that he is unable to play. So we'll get to Banks in a minute, but I think Chris Marshall, you already have Ben Ford out. Now Marshall was supposed to be a big help for a guy like Max Cutforth. That's another big blow to this offense.
Yeah, that's a massive blow. Even though we're all still waiting for Chris Marshall to bust out and beat Chris Marshall, he is the best wide receiver on this team and the best security blanket for Max Cutforth. I do have a question, and I was going to reach out to Boise State today and ask about this availability report. You can be flexible because there's the 48-hour window and then there's the 3-hour window. Is there if you're out on the 48-hour window, if you automatically and miraculously get better and maybe you're questionable, could he be upgraded to questionable in the 3-hour report, or is once you're out on Thursday, you're out?
I believe once you're out, which is why I was surprised they didn't just list him as questionable.
Because Spencer told us that he was questionable.
Yeah, so I don't know why they didn't just, even if they knew he probably wasn't going to play, why not just put him as questionable and kind of play the game till Saturday and, make San Diego State, wait around or whatever. But I was a little surprised they went ahead and just said out on Thursday that quickly. My understanding is if you're out, you're out. I mean, I guess a guy could – I don't think that – if he can somehow play, it's not like, we already said you're out, you can't play. I think he can play. They would just have to pay a fine or something, I guess, if he was able to have a miraculous turnaround. But I would think they don't put you out until they know you're you're out. But I guess maybe crazier things have happened. I don't know, but that's
and I tend to agree with that. I was just curious if there was that, because we're all learning about this availability rules, and it's just brand new this year.
I was surprised they didn't put him as questionable. I really thought you see a lot of these coaches play this game. Boise State hasn't really done that as much, but there was really no need for them to have to announce that he was out yesterday. Just say he's questionable and wait till Saturday. But Spencer said he wasn't going to mess around with us, and if guys were out, they'd tell you he was out. And I guess trainers decided in those 4 or 5 hours that he wasn't going to be able to play on Saturday, and they mark him as out. But that's a big blow for this offense. I know his career here, his season maybe at times has been a little underwhelming, Mike, when with some of the hype and things like that. But still, you look at the receivers that they have right now available with Ben Ford out, and you have Caples and you have Bates and some of these guys. But to have a guy that leads the team with 467 receiving yards, 24 catches, 2 touchdowns. I mean, it's for an offense that's searching for some way to help Max Cutforth move the ball down the field. It's a pretty big blow.
100% big blow. But there's opportunities and there's advantages, and I know you know that. I mean, it's time for Latrell Caples to step up and be big. I mean, come on, man. He's a 6th-year senior. He's shown flashes of brilliance. Right now, he's just kind of laying in the weeds and being very, very quiet. You can tell that he's having a frustrating season. I don't think Latrell Caples is enjoying his final year of college football like he wanted to, and like he envisioned, and like we all wanted to, because he's such a cool dude, such a great dude, and he can be a good wide receiver. So for me, it's time to step up. And now I'm sounding like a coach, next man up. But really, I'm serious. Latrell Caples, stop laying in the weeds and go out and have your alpha male game. And there's other creative ways to get Max Cutforth a security blanket. I would love to see Cam Bates in the short game, the pass dump game, the fly sweep game, whatever it takes to create some space and get him involved. And then the tight ends, those guys are going to be spectacular. Those are 4 weapons that are still available for Max Cutforth. And I'd be very disappointed if Nate Potter didn't get all 4 of those weapons completely involved. To me, the person, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself and we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, but it's all about Nate Potter tomorrow and how he can create this offense, how he can create a mystique, how he can create some kind of powerful offense that goes out there against this San Diego State defense. And I cannot wait to see what kind of game plan he comes up with and how he executes it, frankly.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I'm not sure if you had a chance, Mike, to watch the Riley and Ridge show on Tuesday night, but I guess it was Wednesday night because of the basketball game. But Latrell Caples was their special guest at the James. And I thought it was a very enlightening conversation about his career, about just what it, inside the mind of a wide receiver. And anyone that didn't get a chance to go watch that, I thought it was a different side of Latrell Caples that, frankly, Rid and Riley usually pull out of guys when they're there at the James and they have a personal relationship with those guys. But if you have an hour of your time between now and kickoff tomorrow, go to the Bronco Nation News YouTube and watch Latrell Caples at the James on Wednesday night. I thought it was a very, very one of our best shows. No disrespect to the previous shows that have come to the James, but great stuff from Latrell. And I think his mind's in a right spot here. He did jokingly say he actually has another year of eligibility somehow. Mike Prater. He said he's not going to take it, but he does actually. He was joking that he's the only guy I was telling Johnny this yesterday. He's the only guy. He's a 6th-year senior, and there's no other 6th-year seniors that have been at Boise State all 6 years. There's a couple that have come in like Sherrod. I think Malachi Williams, he said, is actually older than him, but he's the only guy, 6th-year senior, that has stuck it out at Boise State all 6 years. And he was joking that he's even older he's older than a lot of the coaches. He was saying he's just been there so long, but he said, and they joked, well, you don't have any more years, do you? And he goes, I actually do. And so me and Johnny were trying to figure out how that is. I don't know how that is that he has another year, but he said he did. But he said, Bronco Nation, just letting you know now, I'm not using it. I'm done. This is it for me. He did make that pretty clear. But this is a guy that, as you said, Mike, been here 6 years and stuck it out and waiting for that opportunity. And maybe this is it down the stretch here for him to finally kind of break out. But he did say, he was asked by somebody in the chat, who's the next big, great, wide receiver at Boise State? Who's the next guy waiting in the wings? And he said pretty quickly, Cam Bates. He was very high on Cam Bates and said Cam Bates is ready to emerge as a dog, here at Boise State real soon. And we saw Cam drop that 70-yard touchdown pass in the Fresno game. I think Boise State wins that game, frankly, if he catches that pass. I think the whole game, the whole mojo, the whole feel, having the lead early, I think is just a lot different in that game. So keep an eye on Cam Bates too. Maybe he's a guy that is chomping at the bit to get back out there after the game against Fresno.
Yeah, and he could absolutely play a massive role tomorrow. He could be the alpha male and do some of the things that we talked about, get him in space, use that speed. But I also don't see, no disrespect to Latrell, I don't see Cam Bates being wide receiver 1 moving forward. That's not the role he plays. He's more of the little guy, the speed guy, the slot guy. And I'm frankly, I'm a little disappointed that he hasn't been more active in the offense. And yeah, that was highly, highly, highly disappointing. I thoroughly agree with you. It's kind of hard to justify one mistaken play in a blowout loss like it was at Fresno State. But I completely agree with you that if Cam Bates makes that catch and scores that touchdown, that entire game is completely different. That's how important that play was. And that's how important Cam Bates can be. And he needs to be that important going into the San Diego State game and moving forward. But he's also not the long-term solution for a wide receiver room that needs a lot of long-term help right now.
He's Mike Prater. You hear him weekdays 3 to 6 on KTIK 95.3 The Ticket. My name is BJ Rains. Prater also writes weekly columns for us here at BNN. We got folks checking in, Mike, from all over the country today. Bill says watching from Minnesota. Appreciate you, Bill. D-Ray checking in from Florida. And our friend Jeff Kloster is at the Denver airport heading from Omaha to the game. So I guess that means he's heading to San Diego from Denver there. So appreciate you guys from watching from all over the country, from all over the world. We had our friend Sky Ship last week, or I guess it was earlier this week, watching from Cairo, Egypt, Mike. So
Nice.
folks can't get away from us even when they take trips or whatever else. They're always tuning in, and we really appreciate all of you guys that have decided to do that. And you mentioned Nate Potter, Walla Walla. We got to give Walla Walla, Washington a shout out here. They're watching as well. And Mike, you mentioned Nate Potter, and the run game has to be better tomorrow. I think that's a fact. The problem is San Diego State is top 10 in the country in stopping the run, so it's not going to be easy. But I'd like to see some creative runs, not just the inside zone and runs up the middle. I'd like to see, like you said, some sweeps, some pitches, some ways to get guys in space a little more and get a little creative, some misdirection. Maybe we see a little wildcat tomorrow. I don't know. I just it's one thing to say you have to run the ball, but there's 30 different running plays you can do, and it seems like the running game has been fairly vanilla at times this season. I know everybody got on Nate last year on Dirk Cutter about running it up the middle every time with Genty, and I know it eventually did kind of pop. But we're seeing a lot this year where it necessarily hasn't popped in some of these games, and so I would like to see a little. They're not going to win this game if they don't run the football tomorrow. Can't have more penalty yards than rushing yards as they did against Fresno State. But I think that I'd like to see the creativity in the run game and some different types of runs tomorrow.
100% agree. And I think like Nate Potter, I have a hard time believing that he doesn't come up with a good game plan with this offensive staff. And I think he just loses patience or gets frustrated and moves on. It's almost like, okay, those first 3 runs didn't work. Let's try something new. And I'm speculating here a little bit in terms of abandoning the plan, but it almost kind of feels like that sometimes because they do have a plan to run the ball. And then Dylan Riley ends up with 6 carries, and it's happened 3 times. If it happened once, okay, great. 3 times throughout the season, and I believe all 3 of those times where he had either 6 or 7 carries, those are the 3 losses. You've got to be able to
5-0. 5-0 when Dylan Riley gets at least 10 carries.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what we need to see. I do worry about, and I think we're going to dive into it a little bit here, but I do worry about the offensive line. We're not going to get the same offensive line that we've seen throughout this season. Steele's going to be out. They're going to move the interior. They're probably going to mix and match all 3 inside guys on this offensive line. It'll be only the 3rd time this entire season they've started a different offensive line, and this one's pretty significant. So they've got to be able to run block. They've got to be able to be smart with the penalties. I do worry about the offensive line. That is a big part of this running game. And if they can't get that kind of penetration, if they can't stay ahead of the sticks in terms of those penalties, it's going to be a long day. But if they can somehow jive and then get Dylan Riley going, especially early on in this game, but I also think it's about Max Cutforth. And we saw what Hawaii did to San Diego State, and Max Cutforth has to be good. One thing I'm more curious about the Max Cutforth than anything right now, how mobile he is, how much can he run? Maddox had a little knack for running and picking up the tough yards if he needed to, but you'll never classify Maddox as this great threatening runner. It was almost like a bowling ball, kind of out of control, trying to pick up the last needy yards. I have a feeling that Max Cutforth can be a little slippery, and if he can pick up 2 or 3 big plays with his feet, that would be pretty cool to see as well.
Yeah, and speaking of reading the tea leaves, Mike, I said it on my Monday show. Maybe it was Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday before I went to practice on Tuesday. I said this on the show, so nobody at Boise, so nobody at Boise State could say, "Oh, you saw practice," whatever. I said it before Tuesday's practice, without seeing anything. That I had a feeling that Zeke Martinez might be a little higher up than some folks had thought. And I know you were at practice some. I don't know if you stayed Wednesday and saw things or what, but listening to Zach Hill and Spencer Danielson talk, if you if you read between the tea leaves, Mike Prater, I'm not sure that QB2 is who most people might think it is.
100% agree. 100% agree. And I'll just say this. Every time Caleb Annett comes up in a conversation, he ends up on the wrong end of that conversation. So, yeah, I mean, Spencer Danielson officially yesterday in our press conference said it'll be a game-time decision. I don't know if it'll be a situational decision, like, if it's a couple of plays in the second quarter because Max lost his helmet, or maybe just tweaked an ankle and somebody needs to come in for a play and you need to hand off, or if indeed something more drastic happened or there needs to be more of a long-term change, who they're going to go to. But, yeah, I mean, I think you were spot on. You were the one that kind of spotted it early on Tuesday. We did stick around on Wednesday and see a little bit of it. And, I agree with you. And I'll just say it, whether we get in trouble or not, I expect if there was needed to be a permanent change or a long-term change in a game, and that long-term, I mean, maybe a half or whatever, I think it would be Zeke. Because mostly Caleb Annett has never won any kind of competition. He's like the anti-Maddox. Madsen has never lost a quarterback competition. He's never lost a quarterback controversy, fall camp, spring camp, whatever. Caleb Annett has done nothing but get beat by local walk-on dudes since he walked onto this campus. And that's not a knock on Caleb. That's just reality, guys. And that's pretty frustrating for the one guy on this room that walked in with a scholarship and was supposed to be the guy.
And Spencer did say yesterday that he confirmed that Annett was taking some reps with the scout team, and he said it was to get him more reps. But I don't think on a Tuesday, Wednesday of game week, that sounded like a Brian Harsin answer one time when Dylan Sumner Gardner was wearing a black jersey at the scrimmage or something before the first game, and he said we all thought he was suspended or something, and he said, "Oh, we're just putting him down on scout team to give them some better looks or something." And then sure enough, I wouldn't read into that. And then sure enough, he was suspended for the first game. I like Spencer. I know he's not, he's pretty honest about things, and I do really appreciate that. But I don't think you're on game week when you badly need to get timing down with your receivers and get things figured out for guys that haven't had a lot of reps. I don't think you're putting a guy on scout team to take reps to get more reps. That would be with the ones and twos, in my opinion. So I think that was Spencer said it himself. I think that was kind of writing on the wall.
100%. So, yeah, now we're really concerned, right, guys? I mean, no offense to Zeke, no offense to Max, but two local walk-ons, in charge of Boise State's offense right now. I can't wait to see how this game turns out on Saturday. And if those two become the storyline, or if that position itself becomes the storyline, it just continues the narrative that, and I've said it a couple of times. I know it's a strong word. I know it's a harsh word, but we're borderline quarterback neglect here with this coaching staff in the quarterback room at Boise State. To even be into this position, it's frustrating to be in this position. I know a lot of it's not their fault. I know 5 of the last 6 or 6 of the last 7 have decommitted. And every time Boise State does a great job of finding a quarterback, somebody else comes in and gets them because they're latching on to Boise State's homework. I get all that narratives. I get all those storylines. But the end of the day is it didn't get done. And Boise State's really, really struggling. So the good news here is, and don't lose track of this, guys, sitting here right now, I think I'd probably take Max Cupforth over San Diego State's quarterback. He's terrible. He's terrible. I'm not sure he could beat out Caleb Annett right now. He's so bad, especially the last 3 games. This will not be a pretty quarterback game. I promise you that.
Yeah, no, and it might not be pretty at all given the rain that's in the forecast and the wet conditions. And I would say that probably benefits Boise State a little bit just because then you don't have as much of an atmosphere in the crowd, and it's just kind of a subdued, atmosphere and crowd. And you never know if forecasts are wrong, but they've all week and have not changed that all day Saturday and into the game Saturday could be some rain and some heavy rain. So I brought the raincoat, Mike Prater. We're ready to go here, but that certainly could factor the game as well. And I think final thing on Max, and we kind of move on, but I think that, you don't need him to come out and throw for 300 yards. Just kind of do in a lot of games what folks want, Maddox Madsen to do, manage the game and make a couple big third down throws when you need to, and just don't turn the ball over. And for me, he's got to get out of the pocket a little faster. And I think probably that experience last game helped him. But he was standing back there like he had 20 seconds on some of those and just got crushed. And I think either fumbled one or got sacked a couple of times. Like, be a little quicker. Maybe if you're Nate Potter, move him, roll him out a little bit, move him out of the pocket. I know they got to be careful with him, obviously, because, we've talked about the situation behind him. But just don't try to do the crazy thing. Lean on your running game. Make some throws when you need to on third down. And if you can get, 10 out of 16 or something out of Max Cupforth or just, maybe a touchdown pass, 150 yards. I don't know. You don't need him to throw for 300 yards in this game. Just don't turn the ball over, make a couple big throws, and hopefully the running game can get going.
Yeah, 100% agree here. And if there's one thing that I'm more curious about, and, and one little thing that I've tried to pick up on in practice, and one little thing, I mean, I've been to practice both days like we all have, and I spent the entire time, 100% glued onto Max. It felt a little creepy. I was watching everything Max did in terms of those two practices. And the one thing that jumps out at me is I'm starting to be curious here. And we saw a little bit of it in the last game where he struggled, a little bit of Hank Bachmeier-itis. And by that, I mean, he holds onto the ball too long and the situational awareness in the pocket. You're right in terms of getting him outside and creating some space and get that ball out of his hands. But I think he holds onto the ball a little bit too long. I was explaining that to Mrs. Prater the other day. She goes, "What does that mean?" And I says, it means like a half a second. And that's kind of the fine-tuned thing we're talking about here. But Hank Bachmeier struggled with the clock in the back of his head. He struggled getting rid of the ball quickly, and he struggled with an offensive line that struggled. And again, I can't emphasize it enough. This offensive line is going to be mixed and matched tomorrow, and it's a little bit scary considering the unknowns right now, what they're going to be doing. I do worry about the left guard situation and how that's going to play out. But if Max Cutforth doesn't have a lot of time, and if he's losing a half a second because of the offensive line and then keeping hold of the ball for another half a second, that's disastrous. And I smell a lot of seconds and thirds and long, and that's exactly what Boise State doesn't want tomorrow night.
Mike, basketball team in action tomorrow as well against Montana State. Our friend Matt Bauscher is going to join us in about 20 minutes as well. So I'll talk to Matt at about 9:45, and we can talk a little basketball. And I may get a thought or two from you at the very end on basketball before Matt comes in. But I do want to move this to the defensive side with Devon Banks and that situation, and maybe big picture, the disciplinary issues on this team and what we're seeing from that moving forward ahead of the game tomorrow as well. We'll do that in just a second, but I do want to thank a couple of our great sponsors that make this show free of charge for you to watch on YouTube, and that starts with our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Andy Rowe and Company, all your concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, and right now they're offering 20% off winter painting projects. That's right, 20% off winter painting projects. So hit up rowpaint.com. Tell them you heard about it on BNN. Get 20% off. So they got that painter for a day project, all kinds of great projects right now for the interior painting as the weather turns cold. So 20% off at rowpaint.com. We thank ICCU, Idaho Central Credit Union as well. Best in the business. Branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile eBranch online banking right there from your smartphone. Idaho Central Credit Union. See them with 7 NIL deals. They got their logo back in Boise State now as an official sponsor. So appreciate them. Make the switch today. Mike Prater's made the switch. I have made the switch. ICCU.com. Hey, Latrell Caples, you heard from him. Jackson's, they sponsor the Riley and Ridge Show. We appreciate them for that. And what do you think, gut feeling, Mike Prater? What are the odds in Vegas? Are they plus 200, or what are the odds you think on Latrell Caples' touchdown tomorrow?
I'm going big. I think Latrell Caples gets 2. Let's see if he can be inspired tomorrow. I'm going to go with 2.
Wow, 2 times. I may have to, before I head out of town here, I didn't have my wife head down to the sports book here at Circa and see if they're offering that somewhere on the dial. If Mike Prater's calling it 2 touchdowns for Latrell Caples, but if he gets 1, you get a 49-cent fountain drink at Jackson's on the Monday following the game. And don't forget, they got 99-cent coffee anytime, day or night, using that Let's Go Rewards app. Taco Bell, we appreciate them as well. TacoBellWorks.com. I think I saw Johnny walk by the background of Prater there with his breakfast quesadilla, as is the case from Taco Bell. SON Management Group, the Nicolason family, we appreciate them for their support. Saw the Nicolason boys at the game the other night. TacoBellWorks.com. Perfect time to get out and try a lot of their new items, including those crispy chicken strips. Taco Bell, support a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. Hey, the Blue and Orange store. Maybe I heard the Maddox Madsen jerseys are selling well, but how about the Max Cutforth jerseys? You can go get a customized Max Cutforth jersey at the Blue and Orange store right there at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame in minutes. You can get a customized player jersey for any player on the team through the new NIL rules and things. So they also have that location at the Boise Town Square Mall. 4,000 plus hats on the hat wall, I believe, down there at Boise State, even more at the location out there at the mall. And as always, you can order online anywhere in the world. You can order online at the Blue and Orange store and the Blue and Orange store.com. All right, Mike, as I said, we're going to talk basketball in about 15 minutes with our friend Matt Bauscher. But by the way, one quick offensive line thought. What do you make of, I thought Tyler Kyneth did a pretty good job last year filling in, and maybe we don't really know, who else were the options, or if was there not a better option? Did he not do as good as we thought? But he filled in admirably, I thought, for a good chunk of last season. We didn't hear too much negatively at all. And maybe that was Ashton Genty making the line look better last year. I have no idea. But I thought Tyler Kyneth did a pretty good job. And I know he started this year injured, and maybe he's not all the way back yet. I don't know. But what do you make of moving Randolph to guard and Holmes at center instead of somebody like a Kyneth at guard and Randolph at center?
Yeah, and we're going to see a combination of all that this weekend probably. And you're 1,000% right. I thought he was good last year, Kenneth, and maybe it is the injury this year that. I mean, it's a small sample size, so I don't really want to judge Kenneth. And everybody had issues in the Fresno State game, so it certainly wasn't just him or that offensive line. I worry about Zach Holmes. And last year, Zach Holmes, maybe it was Genty thing again, but Zach Holmes last year was pretty darn good too, and I thought he would be a dependable center. I don't think he's a dependable center right now. Way too many mistakes in terms of penalties, a couple of bad snap issues, and every time he shows up, I wince just a little bit. So whatever combination you can come up with that keeps Zach Holmes off the field, and I know that sounds harsh, and I don't mean that to be personal, but I need Randolph at center, and then you got to figure out the guard situation. But maybe they're just a little bit too light at guard, and they need Randolph on one side and Kenneth on the other side, or however it works out. We'll see how it all plays out. I know Carry-On's in there as well, but it's going to be a mix and match offensive line, and they're going to have to be good in this football game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But defensively, Devon Banks getting kicked off the – by the way, I'm going Matt Lauder touchdown tomorrow. I think – how about a Lauder and a Wagner combination? Both score touchdowns tomorrow. Get the tight ends involved and be a little safety blanket there because I don't believe Max Cutforth, hate to say it, is going to be attempting a ton of 30, 40-yard passes down the field. I think it's going to be a lot of 10, 15, 5 shorter routes, and I think the tight ends could be a big factor.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they've been doing with Maddox lately. I mean, even though they emphasized early in the season the long ball, that's got away from Boise State. These explosive plays, especially in the pass game, have just kind of disappeared. So if Maddox Madsen couldn't handle it, I'm not sure we should expect Max Cutforth to handle a strong vertical passing game right now.
All right, what was your reaction yesterday? Devon Banks, again, I believe he only has 10 tackles in 6 games. Had the big personal foul penalty in the first game, had the couple plays on tape where he was kind of jogging after the ball and was a kind of a national story there early on in the season, and then got hurt, didn't play for a couple weeks. Came back, hasn't played a ton. What's your take on the Devon Banks situation? And kind of we can get into the bigger picture maybe after that, but I guess starting with Devon.
Well, you know me, and I probably, the first thing that came to mind when that came out of his mouth, Coach Danielson's mouth yesterday at the press conference was, gosh, I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. I mean, we've seen little bits and pieces here and there, and, even if it's just, 3 seconds of attitude at practice, spring camp, fall camp games, in games, during games, it's just all been there. And lately he hasn't even been available to play. He's never really made much of an impact here. So I know it's in hindsight, it's easy to beat him up, but we could all see that we saw this coming. And he was in such bad shape early on in this season when he had those back-to-back games where he was just making mistakes and just couldn't get out of the doghouse. And then it became a mental funk for him. I thought maybe we were going to start to see some signs of him coming out of it, but he got a few opportunities, never really materialized. And, the skeptical Prater said, shocked that it didn't happen earlier.
And the skeptical Prater, you were there asking some very good questions at the press conference yesterday to Spencer. But, I mean, we haven't heard a lot about this kind of stuff under Spencer. And Chris Marshall gets suspended for a full game. We're hearing more guys getting, benched for personal fouls and things like that. And I mentioned Marshall, and then now kicking a player off the team, and we're hearing kind of the same thing, standards and how you act with your coaches and your teammates. And it was very similar wording to the 1-game suspension to Chris Marshall with what we heard from Devon Banks. You've got the skeptics in the chat on social media saying he's lost the locker room and there's all kinds of interior problems. And Spencer kind of pushed back a little bit at that yesterday. But what do you make of the disciplinary issues? And unfortunately, it's issues that have cropped up this year.
Yeah, a lot of them. I mean, even little things like, look at the words that are coming out of Spencer Danielson's mouth when he talks about, when there's a penalty, like a personal foul penalty, and the team runs in the next practice, and he says little things like, we commit the penalty, we go off and run, and it just doesn't sink in their head, and we go off and commit the penalty, and then I got to go make him run again. So, I'm not sure the message has been sent, and he just can't get it fixed. He can't figure it out. I think it's a source of frustration right now. And there is frustration with this football team. There's no doubt about it. He hasn't lost the locker room. I will stand by that. And we all kind of know what that looks like. We saw the signs of that with Andy Avalos, and you kind of saw it coming. We all were shocked that Andy Avalos got fired, but we all talked about it leading up to it, and just the timing has caught us all off guard. Andy Avalos lost the locker room at Boise State, and you can see strong physical signs of that. Now you're starting to see some small signs. The player frustration against Fresno State, but everybody was frustrated against Fresno State. I kind of want to see the frustration, how they handle it here moving forward, and plenty of other stuff on the wall with the suspensions. Yeah, this season, the vibe for this team, the momentum around this coaching staff could very quickly slip away with a loss to San Diego State, especially if they don't play well. So this football team is in a very fragile situation right now for the first time since the Andy Avalos situation.
Jason saying, who's he benching for personal fouls? He says he only saw one. No, now it's pretty standard. You make a personal foul, he pulls you out for the next series or at least the next play, and there has been consequences for that. D. Slush disagrees with it. He says, I firmly believe SD has lost the team. It's been showing in the playing on the field. What do you make of – we have seen more animated players on the sidelines, Mike, and I know you noticed something with a coach and a player at one point during the Fresno game. We've seen some receivers show a little visual frustration when the ball's not thrown their way or when the pass is not accurate. I've seen a couple of receivers at times kind of putting their hands up and stuff. There's been more stuff on the sidelines. We mentioned the disciplinary issues in the – I mean, you mentioned the vibe of the team, just you know, all the booing that was happening last game, and just it just was a weird day, weird feeling. And is that something that was just kind of is that just it is what it is this season or something, or is that just can they galvanize, I guess, during the bye week and try to get back on the same page here this week?
Yeah, yes to all the above. All those scenarios are on the table, and again, it'll come down to what happens tomorrow night. If Boise State wins this football game tomorrow night, not only are they in the driver's seat for a Mountain West championship game, they're in the driver's seat to host a Mountain West championship game, and we're kind of back to par and questioning how we got here, because Boise State certainly hasn't been pretty. It hasn't been good. I think a lot of the optics and a lot of the negativity out there right now are fair and valid because I believe in it. I believe in all the angst that are talking about in terms of the players and the coaches and the execution and the vibe and the frustration. A lot of the guys, I think it's different stuff here and there. The wide receiver room and the fan base is frustrated because the passing game isn't working, and you got to jump on Maddox Madsen a little bit for that. It's just not working. It really isn't working. So there's a lot of frustration. Anytime you see a wide receiver frustrated, I think it's just because they're not getting the ball on a regular basis, and they're losing, and 3 losses here. There's issues here, but they got to beat San Diego State tomorrow night, and that can take care of it.
And I know we're jumping around here, Mike, but do you think that it's a little unfair question maybe because Ben Ford was having a tremendous year and got hurt and was doing better than people had expected of him. But you have had Marshall in and out. They lost Strawn and they lost Austin Bolt and they lost Cam Camper and didn't really go out and get anybody, at least in the transfer portal, to replace him, which I think surprised some people. They brought in the JUCO kid Whitlock. We're talking about quarterback depth room and them missing on quarterback. Did they err by not trying to bring in some higher level wide receivers here to come into the season?
You can make a case for that. I don't think it's the strongest case as the quarterback neglect. And again, there's that strong word, but I'm going to keep using it until it gets fixed because the quarterback room needs fixed. It's been neglected and we're seeing the consequences. And that doesn't necessarily mean Maddox Madsen, but how about some backups or some competition or some whatever? In the wide receiver room, sure. You do see that. I'm not sure during the previous recruiting cycle, they thought they would lose Austin Bolt. That train wreck happened fast and furious. Everything else we all knew was on the table. They brought in the Whitlocks and the Browns. Where's Brown? Since he busted up his nose on that touchdown pass, I'm assuming his nose is fine. He's nowhere to be found. Maybe is he the surprise guy that steps up tomorrow and becomes a star again? I'm waiting for one of those 2 freshmen to step up and do some great things. So, is it development? Over on Idaho Sports Talk, guys, we've started talking about the development of the wide receiver room and the coaching of the wide receiver room and Matt Miller's involvement in the wide receiver room. And Matt Miller is one of the all-time great human beings. Matt Miller is one of the all-time great Boise State wide receivers. And I think he's been okay in the wide receiver room. But for whatever reason this year, it's not working. There's no development with the wide receivers. The recruiting with the wide receivers, I think, has been not up to par. And there's just a lot of issues with this wide receiver room. Is it because they don't want to come here for Maddox Madsen because they know he's not going to throw the ball? Did they lose a couple in recruiting? Is it all the above? The wide receiver room's a mess.
All right, we got about 5 minutes left with you, Mike, before we bring on our man, Matt Bauscher, to talk some basketball. So I want to get a final football thought from you and then get a basketball thought or two before we let you go. I'll put this all together. Tomorrow night's game, 7:30 Pacific time, 8:30 back in Boise. I said going into the week, Mike, this is the kind of game that in my 13 years here that Boise State finds a way to win and sometimes wins it rather convincingly, to be honest with you. These are the kind of games where no one's giving them a chance. They're underdogs. Even the fan base is booing them. They're saying we have no chance with a backup quarterback. Other teams are kind of thinking they're right there for the taking. And all of a sudden, they come up and win 31-14 and remind people this is, we're still the team that runs this conference, and we're going to three-peat this thing, and that's what it's going to be. I will say it's a little different scenario than your previous years in terms of a backup quarterback and some of the injuries and things they're dealing with. So I really don't have a great feel on this game. I could see them, winning this game rather convincingly, like I said, but it also, which I tend to lean, that's what's going to happen. I think Boise State's going to find a way somehow, some way to win this game. But also, if we're sitting there in the fourth quarter and they're down 23-3 or something, I'm not going to think we should be super surprised based on what we saw against Fresno.
If Boise State gets blown out tomorrow night, then let's readdress that locker room question. Let's address the connection between the coaching and the players. And this football team, after back-to-back performances, would really have a lot of issues. And then at that point, just a couple of games to clean it up, and they're going to run out of time. I'm with you, though, BJ, and you've been with this program a long time. I've been with this program a long time, and this is exactly, and I love the way you said it, this is exactly the scenario where every Boise State team in the past has stepped up and taken care of business. Now, is this team just a little bit different in terms of the bad part of it? Maybe. We'll see tomorrow night. Yesterday, I said on the radio that San Diego State had a 51% chance to win because I don't believe in them a lot right now. And I think this game could be mucked up enough with the weather and two bad offenses that Boise State's going to have a puncher's chance. And I feel like there's some confidence with Boise State's defense right now, and I feel like they can attack San Diego State. This morning, I woke up and told people that, I'm going to flip that. I think Boise State has a 51% chance to win this game because of exactly what you said. And they just step up and win these games. I think Boise State's going to win this game tomorrow night. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think we're going to still be talking about a lot of issues, but the vibe around this team is going to be a lot different. I do think Boise State wins this football game tomorrow.
And I don't think people care about issues at this point. Just find a way to win with the last three games, and you're hosting the championship game. And you're past the part of the season where the issues and correcting things, and now it's just finish somehow, some way with one more point than the other team in each of these last three games. Boy, Surf City Bill says 13-10 is his prediction. Let's see here. We got Max is going to shock Bronco Nation, I believe, kind of. So we'll see. We'll see. San Diego media not very confident that San Diego State will win. Prater playing both sides, classic Prater. Well, we both said the same thing, and we both, like I said, I really, and that is a cop out. Whatever. It would not shock me if the stuff that has been happening, like it's been happening for most of the season, why would it all of a sudden change? You could say, okay, and if it's, like I said, if it's 17-7 or something and this offense scores 7 points again, you're going to, we saw it against Fresno. Like, why should we be that surprised, frankly, if that happens again? So I believe the 2 weeks is going to benefit Max. I believe they're going to find a way to get the running game going, and I do believe they're going to find a way to just finish with one more point than the other team. I don't think part of that is I don't think San Diego State's offense is very good, and I think Boise State's defense is playing at a pretty high level right now, and so I don't see San Diego State scoring more than like 14 points in this game. So if it's 20-14, maybe with a couple field goals, 17-14, but like I said, I think this I think Boise State, it would not shock me at all if this ends up being a double-digit win.
Yeah, I'm not going to go that far, but I don't think we're talking about the dominant factor in this team, and I do believe that is Boise State's defense. And I always kind of giggle and have some fun with guys said, that I get called flip-flopper or Prater's playing both sides. Guys, sports is a very fluid game, and things change day to day, and it's okay. I still, and I know we're going to transition into basketball here. One of my pet peeves about basketball fans in this town is criticizing Leon Rice for juggling his bench in January, February, and March. I want my coach to tinker and be fluid constantly, guys, constantly. Sports is so stinking fluid. And maybe Nate Potter does too much of that by being too fluid during a game when he should be sticking to the running game. But it's okay to be fluid. It's okay to change your mind. Things happen and things change in sports. And the vibe and the practice and everything that we saw, I don't think losing Chris Marshall is that much of a negative. Chris Marshall alone is not going to win you this football game against San Diego State. And maybe that removes a negative part of this football team. So it's all good for me. And I really think it's okay to say that Boise State can be better this week. And I think Boise State's going to win tomorrow night. I think Boise State's defense is going to be the deciding factor.
All right, well, you were one of the folks, Mike, that was expecting the basketball team to rebound pretty nicely from the debacle against Hawaii Pacific. They have done that, 2 20-plus point wins in the last 2 games. And I know you can look at the opponents, but in both games, they won by more than they were expected to in terms of the metrics and things like that. Looks like a much more like the team we thought we would see in terms of the depth and some of the things. What as they get ready to play Montana State tomorrow, pretty cool matchup with the Keene brothers going against each other, and we'll dive into that more with Matt Bauscher here momentarily. But just for you, where are you through 3 games with the basketball team? And obviously the last 2 have looked a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a great job of doing their vibe, and I'm having a really cool time right now just watching Leon Rice kind of work his magic and play around with minutes and be fluid. But going back to being fluid and juggling and playing around with his rotation and trying to figure out if it's an 8-person, 9-person, 10-person, and what's going on with Carmichael and what's going on with Boyd. There's just so many different intangibles and pieces and juggling going on right now with this basketball team. It's kind of fascinating to watch. The competition doesn't really matter to me. I mean, Boise State's doing what they have to do to take care of business, and I suspect they will against a very gutsy Montana State team tomorrow. By the way, we are diving. And how about this? We don't do this a lot on Idaho Sports Talk in the football season, but we are diving into basketball today. RJ Keene is going to be on Idaho Sports Talk today and having a little bit of fun with his brother, and we'll dive into that and have some fun. But I just love the way Leon's taking care of his roster and juggling some things, and it's a new drama every single time that they step on the court, and I can't wait to see what they do tomorrow.
I'm just not used to positive Prater when it comes to basketball.
They're doing positive things. So I love this roster. I think there's a lot of moving parts. I see some angst, which I love, and I love that stuff. I love to see Leon squirm a little bit, but Leon loves to squirm. Leon is the tough guy that likes to get in there and get muddy and bloody and dirty and fix this team like a mechanic. And I think it's really cool that he does that. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, my only angst with this this basketball team is March, and we'll see what they do in March. I'm not going to jump on them for that one. We're still in November, but yeah, I'm having fun with this roster. I'm having fun watching Leon Rice coach this team and work his chess pieces back and forth. It's kind of a fascinating game right now.
Now, Matt Bauscher was smiling as you said that there, Mike Prater. It looks like he made – what was that smile for there, Mr. Bauscher?
I love hearing Prater. Just his stance. It's comical. I love it.
Where was I wrong, Bausch?
I didn't disagree with anything.
So what you're saying is I'm funny. You call me comical.
I love it.
I love what Leon Rice is doing right now, and it's not pretty, but it's not supposed to be pretty in November as you play around with a lot of pieces. So nobody throws a box of puzzle pieces on a table and it just automatically works itself, man. There's a lot of work involved, and he's juggling a lot of parts right now, and it's really, really kind of cool to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the offense is rolling. I know, BJ, you'll get into some questions, but they're scoring points. I mean, they're scoring, I don't know what the average is. It's got to be close to 90 a game.
Yeah, well over 80 points. Prater, appreciate you. We're going to let the basketball aficionado here, Matt Bauscher, talk some hoops, but we appreciate you. I assume 4:15 today I'll be joining you guys on Idaho Sports Talk.
Well, that depends on you. I mean, if you're in Vegas or are you in San Diego, are you in Boise? I don't know where the hell you are or what your schedule is these days. You're a world traveler, but yeah, we'll figure it out. BJ Rains at Idaho Sports Talk at 4:15 today, talking mostly basketball, or talking mostly football, but for Bausch, we'll ask a couple of basketball questions.
Appreciate it, Prater. Thanks a lot. 3 to 6 Idaho Sports Talk. We'll be listening today. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Always enjoy Mike Prater coming on. Big weekend, Bausch. I know you're following football as well. Got the San Diego State game. How you before we talk hoops? How you feeling about the football game tomorrow?
I'm excited for them. I think their back's against the wall right now, and I know that they're going to embrace that. I'd say adversity is an understatement. It's probably the most I can remember one of our teams being backed against the wall in quite some time, and the guys are going to have to. Every possession is going to matter. I mean, we don't have that room of air, where we can make mistakes and still come out with a win on the road at San Diego State. So they're going to have to really play 4 quarters of football to get the win there.
All right. Well, as bad as the first game was against Hawaii Pacific, I kind of said, hey, man, this would be maybe it's going to be the fitting, the cool story, the worst, first game in program history, and the season ends maybe with the best win in program history, getting that tournament.
My sound is off, BJ.
What's that? You can't hear me now? I'm still here. Where'd I go?
Let me see what's going on.
I'm still here. You got me? What happened, Matt?
You can hear me. I can't hear you.
Okay, I do hear you. So maybe you should jump back out for a second and see if we can come back in. I'm not sure what's going on there with Matt. I'll play a quick 30-second commercial here. We actually have a couple of sponsors we need to thank while Matt's fixing his audio there. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game. Whether the spateam.com, whether it's a sauna, a spa, pool table, they got you covered. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game. And they've been around since 1978. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Check them out. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game. Hey, Ridley's Family Markets. Shop Ridley's.com. They got locations around the Treasure Valley, around the state of Idaho. ShopRidleys.com. Locations in Cuna, Middleton, Star, Weiser, various locations as well. So check out Ridley's Family Markets, ShopRidleys.com. And we appreciate them for their support. Download that Skip app. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. Hey, Transportation Compliance Service, transcompservice.com. They can help you get into the trucking industry every step of the way. Transportation Compliance Service, local company helping out folks all over the world. And there's DOT, overweight permits, all that stuff. Check them out at transcompservice.com. We want to hear from you as well. Leave us a voicemail, speakpipe.com/BNN on the Signature Roofing voice inbox. Signature Roofing online at mysignatureroofing.com. Whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, or an inspection, the best in the business, the official roofing company of BNN. Check out our friends at Signature Roofing. And again, leave us a voicemail, speakpipe.com/BNN. And I think we have the audio fixed with Matt Bauscher, but number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley yet again. And as he was telling us last week, now it's the state of Idaho and the Northwest and beyond. I know everybody has 4 or 5 friends that are realtors in this town, but if you're looking for someone and a team that's going to fight for you every step of the way, we saw that firsthand buying and selling our home with Matt and Kelly and the whole crew last year, and I highly, highly recommend it, not just because he's a friend, not just because he's a sponsor. It really is best in the business, and every step of the process, nothing's left unturned. Bauscher Real Estate, online at bauscherrealestate.com. And I know, Matt, we've talked about this before, but you obviously specialize in some of the bigger homes and things, but you'll gladly take some of the, any size homes and things. And your team is ready. If I don't, is this a good time of year? What's the housing market like right now?
It's a really good time of year, depending what part of the market you're in, buying or selling. It's a really good time of the year. The weather's been so nice, and fourth quarter, typically here in the Treasure Valley, 25% of the business is done the fourth quarter.
Well, if folks are looking, hopefully they make sure to reach out to you and your team, BauscherRealestate.com. You guys are ready to help them out. And we were talking about this team, and I forget what the question was when you couldn't hear me. Let me try to remember what I was talking about. But let's go. How about 30 3-pointers in 3 games? To at least 10 threes, I believe, in every game so far this season. They lead the conference, in made 3-pointers. I know the percentage maybe isn't quite there yet, but overall, leading the conference in made 3-pointers. And we thought going into the season, this team had a lot of guys that could shoot from the outside, and it's proven to be the case so far.
And I think every time that somebody shoots the ball from 3, I think it's going in, and it's not just from 2 players. Years past, Max might shoot a 3 and you think it's going in, or one of our knockdown shooters. I don't care who's shooting it, whether it's Spencer, or Carmichael, or Meadow, or Buchanan, or any of them. I mean, I think it's going in every single time they shoot the ball, and I would keep shooting it. I mean, statistics say shoot 3-pointers. I mean, 5 possessions. If you're shooting 40% from 3, you're hitting 2 out of 5, which is a pretty good number, to be getting 6 points on every single time you go down there. So it's better than going 50% from 2. Longer rebounds. We're killing people on the boards, tough as nails. I mean, I don't even know what the rebounds was against Texas school, but it was, I think we got them plus
44-20.
Yeah. I mean, every rebound, we're just punking them, which I love. And I expect that to be tomorrow too.
What do you make of the new look Andrew Meadow?
Love it. I absolutely love the goggles gone. I heard it's his peripheral, seeing this way, and it's blocking. I used to wear goggles just like him as a little kid, and it's a lot better. It's a better look for him. He looks good. He feels comfortable, and he's playing at a very high level. And then he's, showing off a little more, the all-around game. I mean, he can shoot from the outside, but we're seeing him be a little more stronger there at the rim too. I mean, if Andrew Meadow can kind of get to the rim a little more, that certainly opens up a new dynamic for his game. He's so hard to guard because if you don't close out hard, he's going to hit the 3. He's such a good, spot shooter. You close out hard, he's strong enough to get into your hips, and then you're out of the play. And he can now finish at the rim, which is something we really haven't had a wing that can finish at the rim like that. You take Buza, who's such a good shooter. Some of those guys, they could shoot, they could play D, but none of them had the finishing at the rim capabilities that Meadow has, which, I mean, he's going to be a problem this year.
Bronco 130 says, Matt, how much money do we need to keep Aarons? He's the future. I mean, you don't have to get into specific dollar amounts, but just in general, Spencer Aarons, a freshman, obviously did some things for Team Canada. They were excited about him coming in, and he is, proven to be a key player here through 3 games.
He's long, he's tall. I mean, he had a rebound in the game, and I was with Seth Robinson and Mark Sanchez sitting at the last game, and he misses a shot. He grabs a rebound, and it's almost like he has Space Jam arms. He grabs it on the other side on the rebound, and he can hit free throws. He can hit shots. He'll learn the defensive side. I've been watching him. You can tell he's a freshman in some of those ways that he'll really improve. But imagine when he puts on 15 pounds of muscle and the way he shoots, and then when the game's coming to him, he is the truth. I mean, he's an NBA player right before our eyes.
He's never going to get his shot blocked too, with how he starts way up here, and now we're seeing him kind of being aggressive in the paint a little bit as well. I mean, it was people kind of thought it was lip service wherever when we're saying how's Leon going to find minutes for all these guys, but it's a guy like that who's coming off the bench and only playing 20 minutes, where it's like, man, you got to find him more minutes, and it's like, well, who are you taking out?
So I got my notes. There's 200 minutes, and we're going to play 10 guys. It's pretty obvious 10 guys are going to play. I mean, they've all been getting playing time. So on average, you got 20 minutes a game, but Meadows probably playing 30. So then there goes 10. So who's going to only play 10? And then you start playing the puzzle, and it's going to be a challenge. And I know we say this often, we will be the deepest team in the Mountain West. I firmly believe that. Somebody gets in foul trouble, somebody's injured, next guy up. I mean, we're so loaded at the guard and wing position. And then, and so many of those guys are interchangeable that can play the 4 with our 4-out offense.
And part of that, I think, is what we've seen from AG Nato through 3 games. I mean, he's had some turnovers a little bit. I think he had 6 turnovers in the last game, but a lot, you take some of those with the aggressiveness and some of the plays that he's making. But to me, I mean, at the point guard position, he looks like he's been here a couple of years. I mean, he just fits right in as a guard. And I mean, you played this game, you would know, but he's making it look a lot easier than I think it actually is, coming into a new system, a new program, a new level of basketball from high school. And he has fit right in. I think he's 3rd on the team in minutes played so far.
Well, and him guarding me would be so annoying because he's a little gnat. His hands are active. He beats you to the spot. He really makes you think. You always got to have the ball protected. So on defense, he's a complete gnat, which is great. Him to be able to put ball pressure on opponents. And then the key for him will be the assist to turnover ratio. Right now, the game is so fast to him because he's never played at this high a level. Once he slows down and the game slows down and he can get, 2 assists for every 1 turnover instead of 1 turnover or whatever he is now for 1 assist for 2 turnovers, he's going to be so good. He can shoot, he can score. His vision's getting better, and defensively, he's really strong. So very bullish on him.
Matt Bauscher, our guest here, talking Boise State basketball, former Boise State basketball player. Bauscher Real Estate, again, all your real estate needs, make sure you're checking out BauscherRealEstate.com. And Matt, you talk about the depth of this team and being able to have different guy on different night. I mean, they scored 85 points, they won by 20, and maybe their best scorer, one of their best scorers, Drew Fielder, didn't even score in the game. He's been snake bit a little bit by foul trouble. Has really been, even in some of those games where he had the big scoring, he was only playing 15, 20 minutes a game. What are you seeing with Drew right now in terms of the fouling and trying to stay out there more on the court? Because it's one thing to beat, UTRGV without him scoring and not playing much, but they're going to need him on the court here moving forward.
Oh, they're going to need him offensively and defensively, and he stretches the court. And there's going to be games where refs make bad calls, and I don't think his fouls were all fouls. So, I mean, the good thing is it's short-term memory, and we're about to go through the gauntlet. We got Montana State tomorrow, Wichita State comes, and then us and the family get to go to Maui. So, we see some top 40 programs. It's pretty wild. We get USC, who I think is Ken Palm 21 right now. And then we got potentially NC State. I looked up. They're in the top 30. Texas is up there. So it's going to be 3 days, 3 games of boom, boom, boom.
Well, hopefully we can pull you away for 10 minutes at some point, maybe get you on a show out there in Maui. I'll be out there as well. Looking forward to that. And I think I know BNN is the only media outlet going out to cover the Maui Invitational. So it's a quick trip for me. We got the football game on Saturday, so I'm just going Sunday and then the red eye Wednesday night to get back for Thanksgiving with my family. But I am excited to be out there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You get the earlier game times out there too, Matt. You play at noon or maybe even like 9:30 the second day, and then you get the rest of the day to enjoy Maui. I think the schedule actually for the team works out nicely out there.
Yeah, the games are going to be early. You got the whole day, and then Boise time, it'll be a good time because of the time difference. But The good thing you want in Mountain West games and road games, 3 games in 3 days, which we have at the Mountain West tournament, you don't really ever have that during the entire year. So I always thought it was so weird. You're lucky to get 2 games a week. Then all of a sudden the Mountain West tournament means everything. And sometimes you play Thursday night, Friday night at 9 p.m. You're done at 1 a.m, and you play Saturday morning the championship at lunchtime. You know, it's wild where they stack that 3 games, and I'm going to call it 48 hours. So this is a good preparation for that. And what you need is depth. I mean, when I was a senior, we played 3 games in 3 days. We won the championship. I played 53 minutes in the championship game, triple overtime after the 2 games before. That's exhausting. And now with 10 guys, we're not going to have to do that. They're going to be fresh.
Yeah, I've always wondered why they don't try to set it where you can have a day off between the semifinals and finals too, because usually the championship's not a great game because everyone's just on fumes and gas. And yeah, I guess we'll have that discussion later. I think the championship game out there in Maui is like the 9:30 a.m. game. So that would be quite the interesting scenario which hopefully Boise State has to deal with. They're playing at 9:30 in the championship game on Wednesday. But we'll talk about Maui next week when we get you on and preview that more. But Wichita State next Tuesday is going to be a fun one as well. But what do you make? I don't know, I don't know if you ever remember a time where you had a teammate play a brother or anything like that. But what do you make of the matchup tomorrow with RJ Keene getting to play his brother?
That's so cool. His parents got to be so proud, all the hours in camps and stuff, taking them, and their daughter, their sister, is an athlete too. That family breeds athletes. I love RJ. I love his toughness. I've never seen his brother play, but I'm putting my money on RJ.
What do you make of when we saw another RJ Keene type performance last game? 10 rebounds, 5 assists, I think, and 2 points or something. But he makes so many. We talked about it last year, but just so much of an impact. Not in the scoring category, and it's just he has a unique game from that aspect. And I know earlier in the season, he didn't start the one game, and then comes back and has the big games. I mean, he's not going to score a ton of points, even though he can. That's just not his role because we have scorers around him that can do that on this team. But what do you just make in terms of his impact? And here he was playing almost 30 minutes the other day.
He's a winner, and he does not care about himself at all, and that's. You go back to like why the Bulls were so good. You had Dennis Rodman, and then you take some of these players that just do all the dirty work, and they don't care if they don't shoot at all. I'd like to see him shoot a lot more, especially when he's open. But he plays so hard, and every wing player is so different. I mean, Peanut was scoring at ease there. His confidence was back. Carmichael was looking like he could have scored 20 last game if he would have had the shots in the minute. So which weapon do you throw at him?
Well, I need to ask one question about Javen Buchanan because his dad's usually watching in the chat here. And, he got off to a rough start in that first game as well. I think 0 for 6 and then hit one shot, was 1 for 7. But the last 2 games have looked much more like what we thought we were going to see from Javen Buchanan. The balanced game, even had some assists in the last game, was scoring, hitting those threes from all different levels. I mean, what are you seeing from Javen Buchanan's game?
He's going to get his rhythm. He had some nagging little injuries in the last few months. He's starting to get his body in his rhythm. His game's going to keep going like this. He's such a problem. He's so big. You can't guard it. He's too strong for the smaller guards, and he can get by the bigger guards. So he's a matchup nightmare, and his game will just keep peaking.
And I guess if there was one area, Matt, where you'd like to see some improvement, it would be on the defensive end. And I know in that third game, it did get a little better against UTRGV, but they still shot, 47+% from the field. I know Mike Burns is working at it. I mean, I know last year they were 70th last year, I think, in defense. They're up to 59th, I think, right now, which again, we're 59th out of 360 teams. It's not like, all things considered, the defense is actually in a pretty decent spot. But with that said, they've gave up, nearly 80 points to a Division II school. Obviously, given up some points, given up a shooting percentage. What are you seeing in terms of the defensive side of the ball? And what areas do you think they're working on to try to clean up a little bit there?
I think everything's new for them too. I mean, you take the team and the nucleus of who's playing, most of them have never played together. And defensively, you can see the lack of communication in certain back doors, wide open shots, but they're getting better. I mean, I know they're very cognizant of not letting the other team get paint touches, keep them out of the paint, because once the ball goes in the paint, the percentages go up dramatically. And keeping them out of there is a big thing. And then you got sometimes people just hit tough shots, and there's nights where somebody's got nothing to lose. But I think watch that defense get really stingy tomorrow, and I bet we hold Montana State under 70 points.
I was going to say, final thing for you. What do you want to see? I mean, obviously the point spread at Ken Palm's like 18, 19, 20 points. So you obviously want to see a win and hopefully see that and see a convincing win. But with that said, what would you like to see, I guess, overall that just kind of makes you think this team is still kind of trending in the right direction here?
Take care of the ball. I know we're going to kill them on the board. So that plus 15, plus 20 is huge, especially when we play more athletic teams, in the games moving forward. Montana State went into Stanford. They lost by 9. The game was close the whole game. I think they were down 4 at the half, and Stanford's got a good team this year. So, I mean, Montana State's a good team, but I'd like to see domination on the boards, hold them under 70 points on defense, make them earn every single inch, and then offensively be aggressive, get over 80 points, share the ball, shoot the open shot, get that ball moving, and give the fans, something they came to see.
Like you said, 20 turnovers in the last game. Probably do need to cut down on that. And that's
defense. Yeah, that can't happen. I
know
nine
of them
like crazy.
9 of them are from the 2-point guards.
It says the player, they have all their plays highlighted, what they could have done better. Now they're able to watch some game time film and make adjustments. Why did I make that pass? Why was I not in the right spot? Why were 2 guys standing next to each other instead of moving to the gap? They're going to get better and better. It's just new, and everything's happening so fast, especially for the new guys.
Well, Matt, if folks are out there getting ready to list their home or they're thinking about wanting to buy or sell, why? I know there's a lot of realtors out there. Why should folks check out Bauscher Real Estate?
We want to earn your business. We don't want to be given it. Let us have an opportunity to see if it's a good fit. Let me come over and see, what we can do and what we do differently and why we've built kind of the reputation we have over the last 12 years. We love the Treasure Valley. We love our clients. We, as I like to say it, are very aggressive. We're bulldogs, pit bulls for our clients. We will do whatever it takes for them. And if you give us an opportunity, that's all we ask.
And I saw that firsthand. You were counter offering stuff that I didn't think there was any chance we were going to get, and we got most of it. So yeah, I like I said, I don't just say it because you're a client and a friend. We really did get top dollar, and we're in our dream home that we didn't think would have been possible because of you and your team. So we really do. We're happy with it, and I tell everybody I know that there's no reason to look anywhere else. And hopefully, folks watching this, when you are ready to buy or sell, best of the business right here, Matt Bauscher. And if you're a Boise State fan, it's hand in hand. You're supporting somebody that obviously blood, sweat, and tears, and now is still continuing to pony up and support Boise State. So, Matt, we appreciate you. We'll try to do this again next week, but definitely want to try to get you, maybe we do a beachside show with a pina colada or something out in Maui.
Love it. Yeah, I'm very grateful from Bronco Nation. They've been a massive reason why the business is what it is for so long. And bleed blue, baby, go Broncos. Let's get 2 wins on Saturday. How about that?
That sounds pretty good. Appreciate you, Matt.
Awesome. Thanks, BJ.
Yep, there he is, Matt Bauscher again, best in the business, Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. We appreciate him for jumping on and talking Boise State basketball here as we get ready for tomorrow's game against Montana State. You got the football game tomorrow night. Perfect time to subscribe. You see the deal at the bottom of the screen there, 30% off. You can subscribe to Bronco Nation News. We'd love to have you jump on board as a sponsor and as a subscriber. I'll take you as a sponsor as well, but the subscriber, 30% off right now with our annual deal. But we got Nathan Carroll's football preview going up here after the show, all kinds of content, recruiting from Chris, Nathan, Prater, myself. We'll be wall-to-wall coverage tomorrow. Chris will be handling the basketball game back in Boise. I'll be in San Diego for the football game. So appreciate all of you guys for checking us out. Hour and 7-minute show here on a Friday. And so excited for both games tomorrow. And hopefully, Boise State can get a couple of wins and we'll have a fun show tomorrow. We're still working out the details tomorrow, folks. With the rain expected, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to be on the field for pregame, and I'm not sure what the situation is there. So we may do a early pregame show that is also a postgame show for basketball from my hotel or something tomorrow. So that's kind of the goal right now, is when the basketball game ends around 4:00 back in Boise, we'll fire up a postgame show basketball, pregame show football, and maybe give you the thoughts there, and then just be all over social media with some videos and warm-ups and things. I just don't know timing-wise and weather-wise it's going to work to go live from the football stadium for pregame. So we'll certainly have a full postgame for football. We'll have you covered, till 3 a.m. if need be, talking football in the postgame show, and hopefully you'll make plans to join us there. But in terms of how the rest of tomorrow is going to look, plan probably for 4:00 post-game show for basketball, which will also be a joint pregame show for football. So let's have a joint show there to wrap up basketball, look ahead to football. We'll plan for around 4 o'clock, right when that basketball game ends tomorrow. Make plans to join us from San Diego at about 4 o'clock. There is a women's basketball game as well tonight, so you can go check out the Broncos tonight on the women's side as well. Big weekend starts tonight for the women, and then obviously you have the men at 2 o'clock, and then the football game tomorrow night. The forums and recruiting are good stuff. Thank you, Bronco Blueprint, for saying that. Yeah, we have some fun in there. The message boards are a cool spot. I never would have thought the message boards in this day and age with social media are still a thing, but they are, and folks are chatting in there and talking, and we try to drop some recruiting nuggets and things into the VIP boards. So if you subscribe, you get access to all that great stuff and all of our exclusive shows like the Sanford and Johnny Ball Talk show, which is subscriber only. So we feel there's a lot of value in the subscription. And as I said, hopefully you'll help us out as we're traveling and covering these different events and games. And we're the only local outlet that travels to cover the basketball team, regularly. So hopefully you see the investment we're making and giving you guys these pregame shows, postgame shows, interviews, content. And hopefully you guys can help us out. $7 a month and subscribe to Bronco Nation News. We're right in kind of a fun time here. You got the final push here with the 3 football games. And obviously you have the, basketball season getting into full gear as well. So appreciate you guys for checking us out. Thank you to all of our great sponsors, all of our subscribers. Thanks to Prater. Thanks to Matt Bauscher. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday. We will talk to you tomorrow from San Diego. Again, we'll probably pop on about 4 o'clock with an early pregame show for football, a postgame show for basketball. So make plans to join us tomorrow after the basketball game. It is on the Mountain West Network tomorrow. And we'll talk to you from San Diego. Appreciate it, folks. Have a great rest of your day. I'll be on with Prater and Johnny at 4:15. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.